Oh, well, howdy, y'all. This time we're looking at this old fella. It's mellower than yellow and cornier than a wagon full of dad jokes. Yep. Hello and welcome to another whiskey review with me, the Whiskey Novice. It's great to be back. It's great to see you. And we're starting a new series this time. We're going to America. It feels like a while since I've been in America reviewing some of their whiskeys. So probably for the next 4 episodes anyway, we'll say. I'm going to go around and look at a few little numbers from the States. Starting with a funny little fella here, Mellow Corn. Now, if you live in the United States and you're from the United States and you're a whiskey fan, you probably, maybe I'm wrong, but you probably don't buy this a lot. This is bottom shelf American corn whiskey, and it's a 100% corn whiskey, not a bourbon, a corn whiskey. It is, I have had reports of this in America selling for as cheap as $5.99 a bottle. And $60 a case, I've heard. It is currently, I just happened to take a look and see on Total Wine, which is an American retailer, it's selling at $12.49, which roughly was around about £10. I paid, get ready for this, Americans, I paid £32 sterling for this, which is roughly around $40 for one bottle, which is quite expensive because, well, it's imported. Obviously you can't buy it here, they just import it. What is it apart from ridiculously expensive in these shores? It said it's a corn whiskey, but it's also bottled and bond. What does that mean? Well, bottled and bond came about in the late 19th century. It was a tax incentive. People signed into it. A couple of regulations. It had to be aged at least 4 years and has to be bottled at 100 proof American, 50% ABV, which it is, still is. There's quite a few bottled and bonds out there. You know, there's quite a few distilleries. The same, you know, it has to be distilled in one distillery, this sort of thing. So there are rules, regulations around bottled and bond, and it still goes on. Still made for it. This is made in the Heaven Hill distillery there in Bardstown in Kentucky. And it is a strange little thing. Now, that being said, it's not a rare little thing. There are a few corn whiskies about. I think Hudson Baby, there's Balcones, of course, make a good one. I'm saying a good one. I don't. This is the only corn whiskey I've actually had to date, I think. But what do I think of it? Well, if you hang around, I'm going to tell you. I did embarrass myself at the start there to not tell you. Straight corn whiskey, bottled of 50% ABV. What does it smell like? Corn. It does smell like corn. Sweet corn, dusty corn, popcorn, all sorts of, it's corn. But it's still good, in my opinion. This is another one that I think, especially bourbon fanciers, it can sort of split opinions because it's almost too corny. If you get that, you know, there's no rye balance or anything there. It is all corn. Not just corn, but I get peanut as well. And not just peanut, but because you're into that balance of, really, I would suggest that a lot of your bourbons, etc., where a lot of the toffee, caramel flavors come from are the corn side of things. So naturally, again, this has that toffee thing about it, your maturation and your corn. So as I said, peanut, but there's also like peanut and toffee, peanut brittle, popcorn, yes. There's a slight artificial note. It's like a really confectionery or a really dusty sherbet or something like that. It's not overly off-putting. It's sort of in there, but that corn is just the thing. And there's something I like about this, and it comes out in the palate. Yeah, here's what I like about it. It's not fussy. There's like, now there'll be those out there who will beg to differ and will tell you different, but to me there's about 3 things going on there, but I quite like that because it's not overcomplicated. It is rich, it is chewy almost, and I don't know whether that's just the suggestion in your head that there's toffee and all going on. There's a sweet arrival. Rich, chewy, toffee corn. Really, there's not a lot more than that going on, to me. But it's no bad thing. I do like that. It's not overly fussy. Finish. Zingy, quite long. Hint of cinnamon there. It can actually take water, as I say. This is 50% ABV. So if we put this in terms of Scotch or Irish, for example, you know, you get something at 50%, you're quite happy with it. Anything over 46%, it's starting to come to life, isn't it? So you've got something here. This is where I sort of fall apart with it a little bit. Would I buy this again? No, because I'm not paying that price for something that can be bought somewhere for $5.99, $6. For me to pay $40 for a bottle, I'm not going to replace it. It was an experience, and an enjoyable experience, but I wouldn't replace it because I wouldn't pay that sort of money again. Water, I did add water there. What does it do? It pulls a lot of the dustiness out on the nose. I think I maybe mentioned there's a slight cinnamon in the finish. Well, that cinnamon now starts to appear in the nose. Slight burnt matches, slight cardboard. Everything's very slight. You have to go looking for it. It is a little earthy. That artificial note that I mentioned earlier is still there. It's almost like a medicinal cream, but I can't think of. I don't want to say too much and leave myself wide open here. But no, it's still a good nose. It's still unfussy. It's, you know, it's not overcomplicated. Palate becomes quite hot, becomes very hot actually. It's strange because it's soft and nutty and sweet, but when it gets to the back of the palate, through to the finish, yeah, that does become hot, very hot. And that was the water that did that. More dusty corn. The finish is an awful lot longer. And I'm trying to think. What it is it reminds me of. Red Hots. Cinnamon Red Hots. I remember them being a thing here. I know they're maybe a bigger thing. Yet again, on the other side of the pond. The cinnamon's there in the finish, and they are hot. That is hot. It just has that same sensation, where not only doesn't burn, it's not annoyingly hot, but it sort of does hang around on the back of the palate a bit. And the corn sweetness and toffee, vanilla, that sort of thing really starts to disappear, and it just becomes a bit heat in the end, which is quite strange. That water didn't help, I don't think, in that it was better when it was thick and chewy and not so hot. Water has maybe helped the nose, it has slightly improved the nose, but it has just made it hot. I do like it. If I lived in America, I would always have a bottle of this in my collection, because if I was paying less than $15 for a bottle, it's certainly bats above its average there. So I would definitely have it, but to buy it here again, no, not at that price. That is pretty much me for this review. There will be no comparison this time, for the simple fact that I don't have another corn whiskey to compare it with. To compare this to a bourbon wouldn't be doing justice to either. To compare it to you wouldn't compare it to a rye, because obviously it's not. There are bourbons out there with higher percentages of corn in the mash bill. I will be getting 2 bourbons in this series. There will be the rest of this series will be based around bourbons. So when I get there, then we'll discuss corn and mash bill, etc. But I wouldn't want to compare it with anything else when I've got nothing out there that I could say to you, this is relatively close, or because this isn't in the same league as bourbons. Not to say it's not as good as bourbons, it's just not in the same place. So that's that. I will just leave it then and say thank you for being here again. This was review number 37, start of a new series, but some not too long. Thank you for the continued support. Thank you to my patrons for their continued support. Anybody who wishes to take part, I will leave the details in the description below. For now, I would just like to say, please stay safe, stay healthy, look after each other. Here's to your good health. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.